Hey everybody, it's Mr. Hasquin, and I'm back with more things that you should know by being alive. We're stepping back into some Revolutionary War history again. And today I want to talk about the Conway Cabal. During the Revolutionary War, there were people within the American Army who wanted to replace George Washington as the commander. It would be tough to imagine that today. We would think that Washington was universally accepted, but yeah, this really happened. So, in 1777, the American Revolution, the Revolutionary War, was not going well. The British had captured Philadelphia, and Washington had just lost at Brandywine and Germantown. Morale was low, supplies were worse, and then there was Horatio Gates. He was the general who had just defeated the British at Saratoga in upstate New York. This was the biggest American victory to that point. It's going to bring the French in on the side of the American colonists. And people started whispering, maybe Washington isn't the guy. Maybe Gates should be in charge. And that's where Thomas Conway is going to enter the chat. So Thomas Conway was a French-born officer in the Continental Army, and he was ambitious, he was bold, and he wasn't shy about criticizing Washington. He wrote letters behind Washington's back, doing things like attacking his leadership, pushing for Gates to take command. So, he was, a literal backstabber. Here's the kicker. One letter that Conway wrote said, "Heaven has been determined to save your country, or a weak general and bad counselors would have ruined it." So, yeah, that weak general that he's talking about is Washington. The letter gets leaked. Washington sees it, and man, he is furious. He's got that red-headed temper going for him. So this wasn't a full-blown coup, though, by Conway or others, but it was a political move behind the scenes. It was a coordinated effort among some in the military and also in Congress to kind of sideline George Washington. And so it becomes known as the Conway Cabal. Though Conway wasn't the only one involved, there was others included like Thomas Mifflin and even Benjamin Rush. Now, here's how it ends. Here's how it comes to pass, right? We know, Washington didn't get removed unless we've had some kind of weird Mandela thing going on. But Conway loses influence. People start to look at him and like, Horatio Gates is kind of like, I think I want to distance myself from this thing. And Conway, well, you know what? He resigns. But he does challenge a fellow officer to a duel and gets shot in the mouth. Now, thinking he was going to die, Conway writes a letter of apology to George Washington. Washington, kind of classy here at the end, and he says, you know what, I accept your apology. So the Conway Cabal faded away, but it shows something important. What does it show, Mr. Hasquin? That even during the Revolution, you had politics, you had ambition, you had jealousy that were threats. The British weren't the only threat. These other things existed as well. If you've learned anything today, maybe you like it. Maybe share this. Follow me, and I'll keep throwing out these things you should know just by being alive. Because even America's founding wasn't, safe from a little, backroom drama. Thanks for watching.